picture taken backstage with Ben Jealous, the head of the NAACP, who ought to be one of our heroes for standing up at a difficult time and getting a 100-year-old organization to support same-sex marriage. Thank you, Ben Jealous. We have wallowed around long enough in this country. We need fundamental change in this country. And it starts with getting 2 more new justices like Sonia Sotomayor and Elena Kagan on the Supreme Court, so that we'll have a Supreme Court that actually cares what the Constitution says instead of sells the United States of America to the highest bidder. We can do better than this. A corporation is not a person. We need a new Congress. Now, we have had difficult times in the United States of America before. You may remember, those of you who are old enough, in 1840. Well, I think there's some people in the Congress who may be old enough.
Yeah.
You know, when people say Mitt Romney wants to take us back to the 50s, they're not talking about the 1950s. They're talking about the 1850s with the Know-Nothing Party. Does anybody remember the Know-Nothing Party? They hated immigrants. They didn't like Catholics. They didn't like Jews. They didn't like anybody. They didn't like gay people, but they didn't believe gay people existed. You know, there was some, I think there was President Ahmadinejad back those days in 1850. They'd like maybe that again. I don't know what the Republicans want, but let them go someplace else and stop doing it to us, because our country's a great country. But I don't believe the Republicans are going to win this nomination and this election, because under 35-year-old people in this country, they suffered a lot during this Republican-caused recession. They have. And they could be convinced to vote for some relatively conservative economic doctrines. But unlike our generation, those under 35-year-olds grew up side by side in classrooms with every other kind of American. What I tell that generation is, you know, you grew up with every race, every ethnicity, every immigration status, every sexual orientation, and you all date each other. And what does that mean? That means 67% of the people who last election who were under 30 voted for Barack Obama, and 63% who were under 35 voted for Barack Obama. Now it's going to be under 39. Because those people are not going to sell out their friends for the sake of some crackpot economic program. They are not going to succumb to the hate wing of the Republican Party, anti-gay, anti-Muslim, anti-immigrant, and anti-woman. We can do better than that. This is a better country than that.
Woo!
So, it is fun to be back at Netroots. It was pointed out to me the other day that the original Netroots conference was actually started by a bunch of people from my campaign way back. When was that? In 2003. Iowa, and all those places. South Carolina and Virginia and North Carolina.
Woo!
We're just talking about all the states we're going to win. Nevada and Colorado.
Woo!
Then we're going to go to Washington, D.C. and take back the Congress of the United States of America.
Yeah. You tell them.
But there are some really serious policy issues. And I commend the President for standing up for the rights of all Americans, including gay Americans, during an election year.
Yep.
And I commend the President for understanding that cutting teachers is not a job-creating program, which Mitt Romney doesn't seem to understand so well. You know, we've had our fights with the President. I'm happy to have those fights for 3 years. But in the 4th year, we're all on the same team. Because the alternative is unthinkable. We can't turn the clock back. You know what I worry about Governor Romney? I don't worry about Governor Romney being an extremist. I don't think he is one. I worry about Governor Romney not having the spine to stand up to the extremists, because there has not been one piece of evidence that Mitt Romney has been willing to stand for anything through his entire political career. And I remember I remember in 1994 when he was running against Senator Kennedy, and he turned to Senator Kennedy in a debate and said, "Senator Kennedy, I have done far more for Massachusetts citizens who are gay and lesbians than you have ever thought of doing." And today, he is fighting every possible advance for the gay LGBT community. This is not a president who will stand up to Vladimir Putin, let alone the far-right crackpots who are running the Republican Party today. We can do better than that. So it's great to be back. It's time we poured a little gasoline on the fire because we're going to go out and win. We are not taking no for an answer. We still want our country back. We have made some progress, but we have not made enough progress, and we ought not to be threatened by the hate wing of the Republican Party. And let me just in conclusion happily say that fortunately, the Tea Party and the hate wing is a dying phenomenon. Because as our young people get older and older, they don't want to see this kind of politics anymore. And sooner or later, and I think it's going to be sooner, the Republican Party is going to understand that you can't take a great country and make it better by hating some of its citizens. Thanks very much.